Hey everyone, Sparrow here, and today we're going to talk about betrayal trauma and the narcissist, because living with a narcissist, oftentimes they do betray us, whether we're partnered with them or they're our parents or other family members. There usually is a betrayal that comes along with a narcissist, whether it's cheating, lying, just anything under the sun. And when we experience this particular type of trauma, it is really debilitating, and it just cuts right through because, there are many different types of trauma. Betrayal trauma is really specific, and it can completely pull the rug out from underneath you. Everything you thought was real, everything you thought was your foundation, all of a sudden now is not, it's a lie, and it's very, very damaging. So I work with lots of clients who, and over the years, I've seen it over and over, who have experienced betrayal trauma. And what happens is a lot of times they get stuck in their sympathetic nervous system, which means when they think about the situation, their heart will pound, they'll get sweaty palms, their breathing will shallow. And with betrayal trauma, a lot of times, it will loop in the brain. So you'll constantly think about it. And I've had a lot of clients tell me, and I've experienced this myself, where you'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about whatever the betrayal trauma was. Or your brain, because your subconscious mind is going over it and over it in your head. What did I miss? What am I missing? How did I not see this? What am I going to do now? And on and on. And so it can really just wreck us in so many ways, and it's hard to bounce back and to heal, especially if you're in a relationship with that narcissist and they've lied repeatedly, or they've cheated repeatedly, and you're like, well, how am I going to believe you again? Or how do I know you're stopping this? And this is oftentimes where a lot of people decide to leave the relationship, because they just realize my body can't take all of this adrenaline. I think a lot of times what happens is also our cortisol gets raised because we're in a heightened state. We're in that fight or flight and that sympathetic nervous system. And it's really hard to come out of that when you're still with the narcissist. So a lot of times people tell me, oh yeah, when I'm away, I feel great. And then as soon as I get back in the situation, I'm starting to feel agitated again, or anxious again, or I'm ruminating again. So this is where therapy can be really, really helpful. And also, you have to really figure out, do I want to stay with this narcissist? Because it's almost like you get re-traumatized with betrayal trauma and PTSD. It's like the action itself, because it's ruminating in your brain, is constantly re-traumatizing you. And so it's like, sometimes you'll take a couple steps forward and then a step back, and another few steps forward and a step back, and it feels like it's very slow to make progress, especially if that narcissist isn't getting help. Okay, so we really want to, oh, and by the way, another symptom of this is a lot of times nightmares and bad dreams, because again, your subconscious mind is really trying to work this out. And so a lot of people with betrayal trauma have a real hard time sleeping. They don't get quality sleep anymore, which then leads to a whole host of other issues, right? Because your immune system goes down, and then you're chronically tired, and you can't function. And when you can't function, you can't make good decisions. You can't really see things clearly. It's a whole vicious cycle. So if you are struggling with betrayal trauma, my heart really goes out to you. I'm so sorry, because it's really difficult, and it's just not a way to live, right? So what do you do about it? What do you do? You've got to get really clear about your self-care, okay? Put yourself first. Make sure you do everything you can to get a good night's sleep. And if you can't, Google it. There's an article online, I think it's from Dr. Mercola's 76 ways to get a good night's sleep. Do all 76 if you need to, because if you're not sleeping, you're not going to be able to function in other areas. Go talk to a professional. Now, I'm not a big fan of antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication, because it can be habit forming and there's lots of side effects. But if you need it as a last resort, maybe check into it. However, what I do recommend is having a good diet, and taking things like magnesium and other things that can really be calming so that you don't have to go towards the pharmaceuticals. Fish oil can really help with mood. Vitamin D can help with mood. Making sure you're getting your B vitamins, because B vitamins tend to really get depleted in people who've experienced trauma or who have, heightened sympathetic nervous system or constant stress. Your body's going to need more magnesium and more B vitamins. So checking into things like that, maybe finding a meditation class, maybe finding a yoga class or something to help restore you. This is really about restoring you. Finding, if you're spiritual, maybe finding a good spiritual community or a church or something that can help you. I have the Uncaged Planner / journal that is just a nice deep dive into self-care. I will link a video specifically about this planner above, so if you're interested, check it out. But this is really the time to focus on you, and also really making some important decisions. Do you want to stay in a relationship, or do you want to keep in contact with somebody who is betraying you? Because really and truly what this boils down to also is self-betrayal. Because if we are allowing people to betray us, ultimately we are betraying ourselves. And we want to be our own best friend. That's really what it comes down to in life, is we have to be our own best friend first. So I want you to think about that. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, hug yourself from me, and we'll see you next time.